common pricing problem. Problem with square foot pricing. Square footage pricing, or area pricing, is the most common pricing method that we've seen used in the sign and graphics industry. Why? Well, mainly due to two reasons. Because material usage can be reduced down to area, square foot, or square meter, because it's simple enough to multiply width times height by a square foot price and come up with a selling price. But for 80% of the shops out there, square footage pricing doesn't make a ton of sense. It's just a shortcut. It's not a terrible one though. It works to an extent and probably got you to where you are right now. Heck, I've even used it myself in my shop. I'm pretty sure Bryant has too in his. But that was before we got wise. There's a better way to price projects, ensuring your profitability. But before we get into that, you need to know the pitfalls of square footage pricing in order to fully grasp what we're telling you here. Take your average shop that does vinyl graphics. Let's say you're doing some vehicle graphics. Not a full wrap, and nothing super complicated either. Can that pricing method take into account the preparation time, the pre-production time, vinyl production time, installation prep time? Or what about potential material waste? What about all the extra vinyl that was thrown away, or the extra transfer tape that was discarded like it was just simply nothing? Does square footage pricing factor that in? No sir, it does not. How about this example? Pretend you're a small factory that only produces rubber ducks. I know, but humor me here. Because they only produce rubber ducks, they can tie all of their costs, like overhead or labor or materials, back to the number of rubber ducks that they produce. That is their standard unit of work. How many rubber ducks can they produce? We'll assume it costs $500,000 a year to run this factory, and they produce something like, 10 million rubber ducks. So 500,000 divided by 10 million rubber ducks equals 5 cents per duck. It costs 5 cents to make a duck. So they need to sell each duck for more than 5 cents to make a profit. Simple math, right? Now let's apply that same idea to something a little closer to home now. Screen printing a logo on a shirt. In screen printing, there's the concept of an impression. One impression equals one trip around the press. One design imprinted on one location. If you are printing a design on the front and one on the back, that job would require twice the number of impressions, and the process of screen printing is the same 95% of the time. So step 1, you take your design from your computer. Step 2, you separate the colors in the design and burn a screen for each color. Step 3, you set up the press. Step 4, you print an image no bigger than say 12 by 20-ish on a blank shirt, sweatshirt, or whatever it is. It doesn't really matter what type of garment you're printing on. It doesn't matter what design or what colors you're printing. The medium and the process are almost always the same. And it's easy enough to track how many impressions and shirts you produced in a typical day. So for screen printers, the impression is a great standard unit of work, and your cost per impression becomes an important metric to track and analyze in your business. Now, how about if you're a large format vinyl sign shop or electrical sign maker? So what's your standard unit of work, and why doesn't square foot fit the bill here? So let me ask you this. Do you actually know how many square feet of signs you produced last year? A large, specialized, maybe high volume print operation that only offers maybe like a select number of products might be able to use square feet here as their unit of work. So surely a company like Signs 365 knows how many square feet they print each day, each month, each year, etc. And they probably can tie all of their overhead and labor costs back to each square foot of a banner or a sign that they ship out the door. But are you on that level? Everything you build is a bit different. You probably produce a variety of different types of signs and graphics on a daily basis. They come in all different sizes, all different shapes, different combinations of materials, and different processes. You're constantly switching back and forth between making a sign, printing a banner, weeding some vinyl. Think of all the different types of signs and graphics you make. Banners, vehicle wraps, yard signs, sign panels, sign cabinets, trade show displays, wall wraps, decals, and the list goes on and on and on. These are produced using different processes, different equipment, different people on your team, and they have vastly different price points in the market. There can even be a lot of variation in one sign panel job to the next sign panel job. This adds up to a lot of extra time spent per job. Problems with artwork, swapping in a new material on the printer, drilling holes, pressing grommets, rounding corners, cutting it to shape. If you're using flat square foot pricing, how do you account for all of these different options and variables? Would you price rounded corners by the area of the sign? More importantly, how do you know your cost to produce each type of sign? And if you don't accurately know your costs, how are you going to ever make a profit or even know what that profit is? The answer to this is so blatantly obvious, but just in case you hadn't picked up on it yet, for shops like this, your standard unit of work is your time. Your standard unit of work is your time. That one thing, the one thing that all products have in common is your time. You're limited by how much time you have in each day for production. That's the major variable in your pricing. That's the one that will make or break your profits. Lots of shops, old and new, big or small, leave this out of the equation. It's not just about what your material costs are or how much you can get per square foot, but how much time is it going to take you and your team to produce this particular sign? And how much are you charging for that time? These videos, if you buy into our teachings here at Profitable Sign Pricing, they will guide you. They will allow you to take control of your profits and put those dollars where they belong, in your pocket, not left on the work table. So buckle up, grab a pen, a notepad, go at your own pace, and remember, when you're done with these videos, you will come out enlightened and ready to set your shop up for profitability.